Family Business Australia has been conducting regular monthly forums for members. Mac Hay has been a forum facilitator in Melbourne for many years. In this first interview, brought to you with the support of chartered accountants and business advisors Cummings Flavel McCormack, Mac offers insights on the inner workings of the forums and the big benefits with interviewer Heather Dawson. First, what is a family business forum?
Well, Heather, Family Business Forum is an opportunity for family business owners to come together on a regular basis once a month, and we meet around a table for about 10 to 12 of us, meet monthly, and to discuss matters pertaining to their business, to their family, and to themselves. And it's a great opportunity. It's what you might call a sounding board for people who can come along and have the opportunity to talk about issues of concern for themselves in a very confidential, discreet environment with like-minded family business owners, and they can share their thoughts, their issues, their problems, and get very a great deal of support and advice from other members, and discuss it in situations where they may feel they have nowhere else to discuss such issues.
Well, typically, what sorts of issues arise?
We have all sorts of issues. We have great success, great positive issues, businesses that are growing and dealing with the growth of the business. We have situations of succession and how people may pass the baton on from one generation to the next. We have some quite fascinating discussions about family and about people's values and thoughts on their families and what they would like to see for their families going forward, and how that family relates with the business, and where each member of the family may fit in relation to that business, and also the personal issues of just themselves and what they would like to see happen for themselves going forward.
Well, of course, they always say about family businesses that it's not just the business, but it's the family, and that brings in all sorts of emotional difficulties as well at times.
Absolutely. I think it's where sort of the emotion meets commerce a bit, and we often have those interesting discussions.
Well, without naming any business names, of course, give us some more precise examples, Mac, of the sorts of things that crop up in these forums.
We've seen people, maybe I'll talk about the growth of businesses. People have often had great desires to expand their businesses, had great business opportunities. They've been able to come along and talk about their strategies. We've seen one person in particular work out how he was going to purchase the business from his parents. We've had other people work out how they were going to resolve the ownership of the business going forward with their siblings. We've had people expanding overseas, and how they can get into new markets overseas, and there's a lot of experience to be shared by people who perhaps have encountered those experiences before, for people who are encountering them for the first time.
Well, for people who are coming to the forums for the first time, do they sometimes find it difficult to express, perhaps it is a personal problem within a family that they're experiencing?
It can be a bit daunting for the first time, but soon people get comfortable in the forum, and our way of inducting people into the forum is very important. People are under no pressure to reveal or disclose anything about themselves that they're not comfortable with. We do a careful screening process for people to join the forum, and we try to brief them as well as we can before they come along to their first meeting. And usually at the first meeting it's a case of coming along and actually seeing what happens, and soon they gather confidence in the fact that they hear other people talking about their issues in this confidential environment, and they gain confidence and soon feel quite comfortable in talking about their issues in the forum.
And are presumably reassured that they're not the only ones experiencing problems that, in fact, may be common in family
Well, that's one of the great discoveries that people make in forums, is that they're not alone, and that there are many people who have had similar experiences in the past, and to learn from each other's experience is what really counts.
Well, typically, if a family business member comes along to discuss a problem that they've got, how are these problems resolved?
Well, it's very... the first opportunity is the person has the chance to table the issues at the meeting. We have a process where we go around each person at the start of the meeting, basically reports in on what's happened for them in the previous month in relation to their business, their family and any personal issues. From that, it's probably the role of the facilitator, most importantly, to identify the key issues that people may wish to talk about. Members can also say, I have a particular issue that I would like to table with this group, and seek everybody's input. So it's up to each person in the forum to be prepared to bring their topics for discussion to the table. And from there, we make sure that people in the forum speak from their own experience in a non-judgmental way. They're not there to give positive or absolute direction as to what should be done, but they're there to give feedback and advice and suggestion. And as a forum member, you can then take that away with you, take on board all the ideas that the other people have shared with you, and then you can make your own decision as which course of action you'd like to take. We had one particular event where a person had a very clear idea on how they wished to pass on their business to one of their children. Although it met with quite a lot of opposition in the minds of other forum members, everyone was very careful and discreet in the way they presented that response, and then that forum member took that away, and as I recall, they chose to ignore all that advice and do their own thing anyway. So it was a personal choice as to what you do with the information you receive. So.
Well, Mac, you're a chairman and also a long-standing facilitator at Melbourne Forums, so you must have seen a few success stories over the years that you've been doing these forums.
I've seen a lot of success over the 7 or 8 years now, and people talk about it as being one of the most valuable experiences they can have. I guess we measure the success very rapidly, because each month we ask around the table, well, what's happened between last month and this month, what have you done, where have you got to? So people keep a bit of an eye on you, and check up on you and ask and inquire about how things are going. So I suppose probably what I've seen most is the people gaining the confidence to deal with the issues that they've needed to deal with, and knowing that there's a group of people that they can talk through those issues with prior to perhaps committing to a course of action. So I think everybody in the forums that I've been involved in would say that they have certainly taken a lot of value from them, and perhaps value that they could gain nowhere else. And some people have even said it's they talk about things they would never share at home. They talk about things they never thought they could talk about with a group of other people. But there's such a warmth and such a support and such a bond and a great deal of trust amongst the people that the forum members, that they really do support each other enormously. So that's the success of it, is knowing that you have people who you can trust implicitly on issues of importance to you, and knowing that they will not breach that trust or confidentiality.
Yes, a family business member once told me that they not only gave them confidence to make business decisions, but also to stand up to other members of the family and to look out for themselves as well.
That's true. And I think it's also very important you are a member of a forum for yourself. You're not there as a representative of the business. So if you can't attend, no one else attends in your place or as a proxy. So it is very much for yourself that you would choose to enter a forum, and to gain that strength and courage to tackle the issues that you may have to tackle over time.
That interview was produced by Business Essentials and is brought to you with the support of Chartered Accountants and Business Advisors, Cummings, Flavel, McCormack.